They're the smaller, pudgy ones.
Probably better.
Better on the pocket. Talk about it with Franjez.
Yeah.
All the way from Long Island. Today's guest is a rapper, an actor, and a writer.
Yes,
Today's guest is Nikmoody.
How we doing?
Very good. Very good. How are you?
Good, man. Yeah, I've just been working on this album, ready to get out and talk about it. You know what I'm saying?
Talk about it.
Talk about it with you.
I like that. Thank you for coming through.
Of course.
So let's jump straight in and start from the beginning.
Okay.
Where were you born?
I was born in Brooklyn. So yeah, I grew up in like Canarsie, Bergen Beach, and then right before high school, I went to Long Island with my family, and then I spent a lot of time in Nassau, Belmore, Merrick area. So like two completely different areas, but yeah, it was a time. I'll tell you that it was different. It was a lot different. That's how I learned to be who I am now, kind of in between two worlds, you know.
Yeah.
So
Tell us a little bit about your childhood. What kind of kid were you?
I was an athlete. That's all I cared. That's all I cared about. That's all I cared
What
about
sport?
was sports. I played everything, but I played. Ended up playing basketball in college. So yeah, that's all I really cared about. I was like so focused on that, and like I wanted to go pro. I wanted to do this. Then as I got older, I was like, oh, I'll go overseas. I'll play there, and everything was about sports. Every single thing. It's how I met most of my friends, and I got into music a lot later. So
When was that? What age was that?
I mean, I didn't make my first rap song probably till college, and I wasn't even taking it seriously. I was just doing it for fun.
Doing it for fun.
And then I probably was just when I was like 25, about 7 years ago.
Was that when you fell back on sports more?
Well, I got out of college. I wasn't going to go overseas. I just got hurt. A lot of things happened. I didn't have the college career I wanted to, really. So yeah. A lot of stuff happened in my personal life, and like I was messing around with music, having fun with it. But after all that, I was like, you know what? I want to try this. And I stepped on a stage for the first time as Nikmoody, and I haven't looked back.
My man.
Yeah.
Nice. What's the origin of Nikmoody?
My grandfather, actually. My grandfather used to be like, lunatico. He used to say that all the time when it means moody. A little bit different, like moody in like American culture is like kind of like an adolescent teenager, kind of like going through mood swings.
I see.
But in Italian, it's like short fuse. It means like you got a little temper, and you go. And I did when I was a kid. I definitely had a temper. Like I would get teed up and thrown out of games and stuff like that all the time. And I think that shows in my music because I'm rather, when I get on stage, a lot of people will say like, you're such a different person. I was like, yeah, well, I'm like letting out a lot of stuff that I don't say in the moment when I'm on the stage. So yeah, it was really my grandfather, and I loved that show, Californication.
That's one of my favorite shows.
Hank Moody.
So
I was like, you know what? Perfect.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. I was hoping it had to do with Hank
I love
Moody.
that show.
That's
Well,
a
he's a
good
writer
one.
from Long Island, though, in the show.
He's what?
He was
Oh
a
yeah,
writer.
that's right.
Well,
He's
the guy
originally
who wrote
from
the
there.
show's from Long Island.
Okay.
I don't know if he was from Long Island in the show, but he like was in New York City, and then he went to California. I think he wasn't from Long Island actually in the show. Either way, it was just like it was clicked.
That's amazing. I like that. So Nick, I'm assuming, is your first name?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. And what's I keep it all in the family?
Yes.
What does that mean to you?
It's just kind of like, it's a song I made like 3 or 4 years ago, I want to say. I've been obsessed with this idea of like figuring out how I could like show my culture through hip hop. Frank Sinatra, James Dean, and Dean Martin, and all the music that I grew up on listening to in my family's house, and my grandfather's house. Just Italian culture, is that music, jazzy and stuff like that. And I got in touch with this guy that actually worked at the restaurant I was working at. He would come in and he would sing the Frank Sinatra covers. So I was like, all right, perfect. Let's find something that blends these two together. And we found a song called "In the Family," and it kind of became my staple. I kind of strayed away from it since then, but now on this new album, it's all that. The album's called Arrivederci.
Nice.
So, which means until we meet again. And yeah, it's just diving into who I am, as a blue collar Italian kid growing up in Brooklyn kind of thing, and living in Long Island. So In the Family to me is just like exactly what my grandfather started a business with a horse and buggy coming from Italy, and he gave it to his sons. I say that in the song. You know what I mean? And it's like
selling watermelons or something.
Exactly, yeah. So and it's like that's super important to me. He was like my role model. He was like everything. He passed away, but he's the, R.I.P. to him.
R.I.P.
But that was like, he instilled that in all of us, that like, nothing matters besides family. So I'm super close with my mother, my father, my brother, my sister, even my uncles and cousins. We're all very close.
Nice.
So, we kind of move it like that. I have a line on the new album where it's like, I hope my grandfather know the rapping in the new family business. So,
nice.
So whatever any of us do, like we're always there. You know what I mean? So that's kind of, it just became everything that I stand for. Kind of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what is the meaning of the title when it comes to the album?
A lot of things. I think that's why I like it so much, is because, truthfully, a lot of it touches on a bad breakup I went through. And a lot of time, like, I'm not like directly saying it to her, but I touch on a lot of the stuff, the growth that I've gone through since, and, kind of like until we meet again, like a message, you know what I mean? Like that we're going to be, our paths will cross again, and might not be. Yeah, and even more so, like I touch a lot about spirituality and, legacy, like what are you going to leave behind kind of thing. So like until we meet again, more so probably than what I just said means like when I leave this earth, like for the people that are already up there, or the people that might meet me up there, or 1,000 different things, like what am I going to leave behind? And it even goes back to All in the Family, because the hook to that song is I keep it all in the family. I think that's how they remember me. Just leaving a legacy. What are you about? Like what exactly do you stand for? Like, and trying to make sure that it means something. And it just kind of became the mantra. Kind of became took on a life of its own when I came up with that title. And we kind of stumbled upon stuff. You know what I mean? We were just making music. And we stumbled on a cover. We stumbled on everything. Kind of just happened, and it, kind of it fell into place. And when you're
organic,
when you're working hard, that's what happens. And I'm like in the middle of like nitpicking everything right now. Like, oh, is this song good enough or whatever? And at this point, we have a whole album that's not going to make the album. So it's like, it's
that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it's a good and it's a stressful problem for me, because like, I'm obsessed with like track listing and stuff like that. So. Trying to pick songs that are not going to make it really, really sucks. Yeah. So that's where we're at now. But yeah, I mean, Arrivederci is just like, it's become like, I'm going to make my brand that. I'm going to open up an LLC on that. And just, I think it's just means so much. You know what I mean? It depends on how you look at it, but it's a double entendre for sure.
Definitely. And what's your writing process?
It changes with the song, I'd say.
Really?
I'm really adaptable. It really depends on where I'm at. Like, that's what I've learned about myself, especially through this process. Like, in the past, when I first started, it was I had to be by myself playing beats, listening to them, and writing in my notebook. Then I got more involved and around more artists. I started writing on my phone all the time and, like, write the song on the spot. This album, and, like, my last album, my first album, every song I went into the studio with my boy Bluff, who produced pretty much the whole album. He's the executive producer also. Like, anything that I do, whether or not he produced it, he's overseeing everything, kind of like directing the song. But we made our first album like 3 years ago, Madhouse. We would go into the studio. How you feeling that day? He would cook up a beat on the spot, and I would write the song right there. That was every song. This process was a lot different because we don't have a studio no more. So we're working like with SM7Bs in our houses. Sometimes he'll come to me, I'll go to him. Sometimes I'll record the verse myself. And I'm working with not just him. So we have my boy Sticks, who's just insane with the soul sample chops and stuff like that. And my boy YK down in Texas, he's a great rapper, a great producer. And we've all just been sending each other songs. Oh, yo, do you want to jump on this? You want to do on this? We actually, we started like a whole group chat. We have a group name now. We put out an album like a mixtape, like a month ago, called under the name Doobies. It's just like, yeah, man, we're just fucking around. Yeah. It's like we're all over the world too. It's like dudes from the UK, it's people from St. Louis.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Just messing around with music, and it was like, you know, he sent me a beat. Like sometimes I'll write it immediately if I'm feeling it. But you know, I work a lot. I'm always out on. Sometimes I'll hear it and it'll like intimidate you. You'll be like, oh man, I gotta think about this, and I'll have that beat playing in my head, like when I'm working a double shift, and then whenever I get the opportunity to sit down and listen to it, it just falls out. You know,
nice.
And it's been it's chaotic. There's a lot of different ways that we've done it with this album. It was kind of pieced together in that way, but I wouldn't trade it, man. It was really cool. It was a really cool experience. So I don't really have a straight answer to that question.
Yeah.
It's kind of like all over the place, to be honest.
It's always different.
Yeah. For this one, it was. Yeah.
That's that Moody in you.
Yeah. There you go, lunatico.
So the music videos, they're like movies.
Yeah.
Is it the same videographer, editor, or you?
For the most part, I studied screenwriting in school, so
nice.
No
wonder.
Yeah,
the movies. They're movies.
Well, I made a movie last year. It hasn't come out yet. But yeah, I mean, my friend Luke DeCola has shot most of my stuff. We've worked together on tons of things, like you were playing before, like the Take It or Leave It, In the Family, BuzzFeed. But then during the movie, we branched out to other people too. That's very funny that I said branch out, because he goes by Branch Out Visuals. That's what a segue.
No pun intended. Let's do it.
I just killed it. Ben, if you're watching. No. He just shot the last one, Ajita. He'll probably shoot the next one as well. We got a nice tight-knit group of people that believe in what we're doing, so it's easy when you work with people that you like, you know what I mean? So I always try to keep that first. Like, as long as they're cool, as long as they're a good person, they believe in what you're doing, we can make something happen. And that's like my favorite part of it, is making like those visual ideas come to life. Like,
it's art. It makes the music a bigger art.
Yeah, I love that stuff. And I tell people all the time, like, if I ever get an opportunity to get that big platform, the first thing I'll do will be to go make a movie. Maybe based on the album, maybe not, but I enjoy that process just as much. You know?
What do you mean the big platform?
Like, if I take my music to the next level where I think it's going to go, and I get that bag and I get that, recording contract or whatever it is, or, somebody sees something in me where they're willing to invest in a way where because I self-invested my short film last year. It didn't come out, but I was doing like episodically dropping episodes last year. And I learned a lot from that process. And now I'm like, really, I know exactly what I need to do. It just takes money, if you really want to make it, next level content, 100%. Next level ideas, and make things come to a vision.
So your goal with the music is to get a deal? Or
I don't know.
Rather than being independent?
I just want to grow a fan base. I don't. If somebody offered me a deal that I liked, I'd take it.
All right.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to go that way. I really just want to have a fan base where I could tour and play shows and, make art for a living and not have to, hustle my way to do it. I would love to just be a full-time artist. So whatever way that comes, I'll take it.
My man.
Yeah.
My man, I love it. I could really see it.
Yeah.
I really see that you're just an artist.
That's what I like to do, man. Like,
none of your answers are really direct. You're like, oh, yeah, I'm this way or that way. I could do this or that. It's like, that's an artist to the core right there.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Man. It's the Pisces stuff, man. It's that water sign.
Yeah. I don't know much about zodiac.
I've learned a little bit on recently. People, my friend Sam has been telling me about being a water sign and stuff like that, and I'm like, that actually checks out.
It usually sounds real.
Yeah. Well, she started breaking it down for me. She's like, well, your favorite album is Swimming by Mac Miller.
Wow, Mac Miller.
She's like, on your last album that didn't come out, you were on water. Like, your first song is called Sink. You know what I mean? You loved Kurt Cobain. What's the cover of Nevermind? It's a baby in a pool.
It is.
It's like, I'm like, why are you exposing me like this? But it really
That's
checked
scary.
out. So I mean, like, again, I don't know much either, but recently just been learning about it. I'm like, you know what? Maybe there's something to be said. I don't know.
Mac Miller's Swimming. Why Swimming out of all his projects? I personally love that project.
It's one of my favorite albums of all time. Like, I've played that album probably more than any other album, top to bottom. I just felt like what he was dealing with related a lot to me. There's a book that I really love. It's actually a title on one of the songs on my the album coming. It's called The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. But it like deals with a lot of what Mac was talking about in Swimming, where it's like Sylvia Plath described depression as like this bell jar, where like, you know, a bell jar is like what covered the rose in Beauty and the Beast.
I can't.
It's just like a glass that you could lift up.
I just Google it.
Yeah. It's just a glass that you can lift up. It's not as much of a jar, you know. But that's how she described like depression, where it was like it could just consume you, and you like when you're looking and when you're looking through it, like things can get cloudy, and you don't exactly see things for what they are because there's a jar on your head. And I felt like that was kind of what Mac was saying when he was like, when he felt like he was swimming through it, where he was learning to not drown but swim. And like the whole album was so introspective and so like from his soul, and I just felt like I followed him for years, you know what I mean?
Same.
I'd watch his development, and like he found this place where like he's rapping and singing and
He's playing his own instruments.
He's him, like on that album. Whereas like in other albums, like sometimes he feels like he's super influenced by whatever is around him, which is dope too. Like,
of
there's
course,
nothing wrong with that either.
Course.
But like on that album, like he just found,
because that's what he does. He taps into the moment. That's why his music was so raw.
Well, he's like everything. He's a he's a musician. He's a producer. He could do anything.
The Swimming was his growth.
Yeah.
Like that was the peak of his growth. That was the best he got. Obviously,
I mean, I thought he would have kept going too.
Of course,
like,
he would have. But that was that. That's why the album's so beautiful.
I love the new project they put in post.
Circles is amazing too.
Circles is dope too.
You know why Circles is really amazing? It's no curses.
Oh,
and it's the music he made that he didn't put out.
Right.
So it's music that came out of his heart, but he's like, I don't want to put this out. So it's kind of special.
Damn.
And it was around this time he was making Swimming.
Yeah.
So that's why it sounds
like a 3 thing. It was supposed
really?
To be Swimming, Circles, and then Swimming in Circles was the trilogy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's what I heard. So
wow,
that's insane. So he was working on it all together, and like Swimming was that, and then Circles was supposed to be more of the like musical stuff because there's a waltz on there. Like he was just experimenting and stuff. Yeah. And then the third album was supposed to be raw hip hop.
Wow, that would have been sick. That would have been sick. I could talk about Mac for hours.
I love that guy.
Yeah, same. R.I.P. Your YouTube playlist or elsewhere?
Yeah.
What is that? I watched them all, and it's a little confusing.
No, I mean, it was kind of designed to be... so I was working on an album. It was called Or Elsewhere. I was writing it with my ex-girlfriend. We wrote I wrote the whole album myself, but then we decided to make a script to it because the music we were making at that time, I was around a lot of like hardcore and rock bands, and still trying to rap, but like using that musicality, and like we were really influenced by like Euphoria and the way that they soundtracked that show. So the whole album was super cinematic, and we felt like we had to do something more cinematic to go along with it visually. Like a music video wouldn't have done it. So I came up with the idea to make a short film. I wrote a whole script. We shot an entire thing. I took out a whole loan, the whole 9. Right. And we shot the whole thing. And we started, I was like, you know what? Like, I'll drop singles from the album and we'll cut up like episodes. So you would watch these episodes and be like, oh, and then and the whole idea was that they were like cliffhanger every time, short cliffhanger every time. Yeah, you're like watching, you're like, wait, what?
Yeah,
well, that was insane. But like, what am I watching right now? But at the end, we were supposed to. Okay, it's like, oh, you watch all these episodes, you probably feel like you feel. I'm like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Like that was cool, but what the hell's happening? Okay, because you were missing the scenes in between, so there was movie scenes in between it. And those were just quick moments that happened transitionally. And we were supposed to put the short film out, and you would be like, okay, now that's in context, now I get this. And the album would come out with the movie and the whole 9. But, we decided to go a different way during last year. It just wasn't working out. And I think a lot of people felt that way. They were a little confused and stuff like that. And again,
it's art. At the end of the day, it's just art.
You learn. You know what I mean?
It was beautiful.
You learn.
The cinematography is beautiful.
I hope one day that will come out, and we'll see what we really did there, because I'm super proud of that project still.
It's all filmed already?
everything is filmed. The only issue that we didn't finish editing, the only issue I would have is that I didn't think the ending worked. So I don't know if we would have had to reshoot an ending or change the way the script was or something like that. And then, you know, a bunch of things were starting to happen for me musically. What happened to me too was that as I was doing that, I was so focused on that. And I was like, man, how am I going to stay active on like social media and in the hip hop scene? Cause that's where I've built my whole fan base. So I started hitting ciphers and freestyles and all these things, and those started popping off for me. Like a couple of them went viral. And my followers were starting to go up. More opportunities were starting to come, and I'm dropping like cinematic music that people are following me. Like, yo, what is this? Like, and I was acting in the scenes, like playing different characters. People are like, yo. Some people actually hit me up, like, yo, you switched up, man. Like, I thought you were like a raw hip hop guy. I thought you were about, you know, old school hip hop. Vintage, and you were like dressed up with gold teeth and tattoos on your face, man. Like that's not what I thought you were. And I'm like, wait, what do you mean? Like there's a character. Like,
you're clearly acting.
It wasn't, something was not communicating to people.
But you know, there's always people that are not going to be okay with change. Of course,
you know, of course,
you know.
But I didn't. That didn't bother me as much as like. The fact that like things were going well in the hip hop world and I was putting out music that wasn't hip hop.
Yeah.
So to me, I was like, what am I doing? Like I gotta figure this out because all these opportunities are coming up, and you know, I that's what I want to do. Like I love that. I love this stuff too. But like, I started to learn over time that like when you're an up and coming artist, you know, you want to do everything. You want to like prove your versatility. You want to prove that I could be on this song. I could be on this genre. I could do this. But at the end of the day, like that's not what's important. You need to nail down one thing and then spread your wings.
Yeah.
You got to find your niche, find your core fan base that fucks with you for that, and then spread your wings. And I was like all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Like, how could I put out a song like this and then a song like that? People are like, you know, like you're saying, like, you're like, oh, wow, your answers are all over the place. But I'm like, over time, I'm learning to be like, I gotta, you know, bring that in the middle somewhere and find whatever it is it's going to be. So that's what we started doing, and I think that this album is that. It's a hip hop album.
That's perfect.
You know, like I was like, how am I going to be known as a cypher guy and I don't have a hip hop album out? That's crazy.
100%.
That's why I did the cypher tape too. So
nice. Yeah, fuck it, whatever flows, man. The skeleton hand logo thing.
Yeah,
that's your logo.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. Right. Oh, nice, my man. Merch and everything. You sell merch, or you just have it for yourself so far?
No. I've sold merch a couple times.
Nice.
We definitely have a lot coming up on this album run for sure.
Man.
I don't know if it'll be a lot of this, but we'll see.
Nice. Who are your top 5 favorite artists?
Artists or rappers?
Artists.
I like that.
Dead or alive?
Kurt Cobain. Kendrick Lamar, Mac Miller, I was a big like I just loved listening to like old school rock and stuff like that. So you know, when like Robert Plant and like Led Zeppelin would come on, that would be my stuff. I don't know if they're like the most influential on me, but I would probably put them in there. And then it's probably J. Cole in there as well. I think that just J. Cole's insane. And Andre 3000 should be in there somewhere.
How you felt about the Flute album?
Huh?
How you felt about his Flute album?
Well, did you listen to the interview?
No.
I've probably felt how you feel right now, but I listened to that interview and I was like, okay, that guy's an artist.
He definitely is.
He's an artist.
I know he's an artist, but it's like we love him for his ability to rap.
Well, he just feels like he just felt disconnected from that, and this is like his way of expressing himself. And it's meant. The thing about that album was that it's meant to like be live. It's meant to be ever changing. So like, the recorded album doesn't do the justice that a lot like playing it live and hearing it live does, because it's all in improvisational. So I don't know. And apparently they recorded that album early in the process of him playing with like, because he's playing with like insane musicians, and like he's relatively new to that instrument, and like he was saying now, like if you hear me play now, it's a different thing. Like I'm much more in tune with like the root of it. But it's not in my daily rotation.
Yeah, it's like we love him for his rhymes. Yeah.
It's not in my rotation. It's not what I listen to. But
big jump for this guy.
Yeah, exactly, man. So this is what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's an artist. Yeah, he's a straight artist to the core. If you were to describe Brooklyn, how would you describe it to someone that never heard of this place before?
Never heard of Brooklyn? It's just a melting pot. I mean, all New York City is, but Brooklyn is like, there's an attitude to Brooklyn. You know what I mean? Like there's a people joke around all the time, like a get the fuck out of my face kind of thing. But that's really what it is. Like people are they have an attitude. They have a chip on their shoulder. That New York minute is a real thing. Like, like the prices are up higher here. The stakes are higher here. The time moves quicker here. You know what I mean? Like it's what it is. Like, you're walking too slow in the street, you're gonna get yelled at. Like, and it is what it is. And like, every little town in Brooklyn is a different world. You know what I'm saying? So, I just would say attitude. Brooklyn is just an attitude. You know what I mean? And that's why, being that I moved to Long Island, and a lot of people give me flack for saying that I'm from Brooklyn. I would just say, like, listen, man, like my whole family's from Brooklyn. When everybody around you has that attitude, and I grew up there too. I just wasn't there like my whole life. I didn't, spend my, I guess, formative years in high school there. But there's still that attitude. You know what I mean? It's different, and you carry that with you. You know what I mean? That doesn't go away. So, yeah, man, attitude all day.
Attitude, I like that. Yeah. That's a good one. What do you think is the next move to take your music to the next level?
I gotta get on tour with somebody. That's really my main goal, because I take a lot of pride in my performance. I got a big show coming up April 5th, Mercury Lounge. For anybody who's listening and wants to come through. Where is Mercury Lounge? Lower East Side in the city. Great venue. It's part of Live Nation, so Live Nation ticket link. I got my friend Nia Zoe is going to open up. Got my friend Marlo DeMore, a sick rapper from Long Island, is going to be on the bill. One Take Carter will be on the bill. John Durante will be house DJing out night. It's going to be a whole vibe. Nice. But I haven't done a big show like this in a long time, so I'm looking forward to it. That's my favorite part of it, is playing music in front of people, especially rap, because rap is one of those things where I used to joke around, like I would get booked for like these venues where like people should be playing acoustic guitar. I'm like, how am I gonna rap when this guy's eating a Caesar salad? Like, yeah, that's not the genre for that. You know what I'm saying? It's a different thing. Like they want to hear background music. They don't even want to hear that. Yeah, that's live why rap while you're eating. Yeah, no. But I've been through it all with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like that's pretty funny. Restaurants and shit. Like what? Like this is not it. That's not it. You have to. Hip hop is interactive. You know what I mean? It's an energy. So like the crowd gives you energy. You give the crowd energy. It's like moves as one. Yeah. So, that's why I love it. That's where I get, whenever I get down, it's because I'm not performing, usually. And I find a way to get back out there, even if it's for something small. But this is going to be a big one, so I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be the album release party. Nice. Very nice. You mentioned spirituality earlier. Are you religious? Somewhat. Not as much as I'd like to lead on, but I definitely believe in a higher power for sure. I grew up Catholic, so. What do you think the afterlife is? It's hard to say, like, because there's this book that I read when I was in college called The Unbearable Lightness of Being. I don't know if you've heard of it, by Milan Kundera. He talks about this idea called the eternal return, and it like divides people. Like, if you believe in eternal return, like that you're going to come back, then you have a lighter spirit. Things don't bother you as much because you don't feel every decision has as much weight. So if you do think that it's one and done, you take your decisions more seriously and you're a heavier soul. Things hurt you more and stuff like that. So when you're thinking about the afterlife, for me, I guess I would say I do think it's a one and done. I think that you become. I do believe you transfer into something else, but you don't keep your individual identity, where you'd be able to recognize it. And people say that all the time. It's like, oh, he's an old soul. I recognize him. He must have lived 100 lives. And it's like, I don't know about that. Like, I think it's you go to heaven or hell or whatever religion you believe in. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not necessarily going to say that that's what it is, but I do think that your actions have consequences.
My man.
Yeah.
Who's the first person you think of when you think of success?
Probably my grandfather or my father, either one.
Legacy.
Yeah, my dad took a lot of pride of moving me out of Long Island. You know what I mean? He wanted to give me every opportunity, and he didn't want me to go to Canarsie High School because it was just not good at the time. I don't know anything about it now, but at the time it wasn't good for education, and there was a lot of gang stuff going on over there. So he wanted to get me to Long Island. He did whatever he could. He worked every day. You know what I mean? And he's a tire salesman. He's in the streets, so it's a hard grind. You know what I mean? And he drives from Long Island to Brooklyn like a psycho every day.
Like a psycho.
Yeah. Psycho. Just a giant, like an Italian man yelling at you. What are you doing? Cut me off. What are you doing? Oh my God. I got in traffic on the way here. I'm just fucking flipping out. Like, this guy does that every day. I'm talking about a short fuse.
Oh man.
But yeah, man, what he was, and my mother too. She everything that she did for us, me and my siblings. So I'm blessed for that. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't have that. So I'm definitely grateful for who they are, because man, the type of stuff that I've been through, I don't know what I would be if they weren't there to lean on. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, my parents, it doesn't look like it. We're not the richest, we're not the poorest, but we got each other, and they taught us that, and that's what else is it? What else is success? You know what I'm saying?
That's what matters most. Yeah. Family, 100%. What are 3 things you need to be happy?
3 things I need to be happy. That's good. Definitely need my music. I think I have to do some sort of physical activity, whether it's working out, playing basketball. That's a big thing for me. I've noticed too over the last year or so. I don't feel good when I'm not
active.
The classic mind and body balance. It really makes me a better version of myself when I'm active, physically. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, going for a run or doing a workout, lifting weights, playing basketball. It definitely makes me happier. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be cliche and go everything I've been saying. My family, man. I definitely spent a lot of time with them and my niece and stuff like that. And yeah, I'd rather be with them than most people. So
perfect.
I'm not really an extrovert, so I spend a decent amount of time at home unless I'm out an event or something like that. So without those 3 things, I don't think I would be all right.
Perfect. I like that. What's the most exciting thing you ever did?
Damn, that's tough. Musically?
Oh no, in general.
Exciting? Wow, that's tough. Skydiving was pretty up there. Skydiving. I had an upcoming single and I put it on my hands. And as I was diving, the title of the single was on my hands, and I took one of the photos.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, I have a video of it.
That's dedication.
Stupid. That's thrilling, man. I don't know if I'd do it again, but it was definitely worth it.
I did it too, and that's what I say when people ask me.
Yeah,
that's definitely number one. It's out of this world.
I can't think of a time where I was as nervous going up. You know what I mean? That plane ride up is the whole thing. Once you jump,
the initial jump scared the hell out of me the most.
Yeah?
The initial leap,
and
after that,
the guy that I was with was like laughing at me. Why you gotta do that to me, man? Why you gotta do that? That's not right.
Oh man, he sees it all. That guy.
No, yeah.
As you get older, what has become more important and less important?
As I've gotten older, like I just don't have time for nonsense and like people who are gonna complain and woe is me type people. I don't have any time for that. You know what I mean? There's people, there's hardships that we go through, and like I'm 100% down to be there for the people I love when that happens. But like if you're constantly sucking energy from people and using people for what they can give you, I don't want to be around you. I don't want you around me. I just don't have time for it. Like I used to think I had to connect with this person and be with this guy and like be in this circle, and like I don't think that that's the case. I think that you could do what you got. You just got to get really good at it. So that's what I focus on now, is just like perfecting the craft and leaning on the people that have always been there for me, you know. And then I guess, was it more
important and less important?
Less important. I guess I don't know. I used to like shit on people who'd be like, "Oh man, he sold out. He did that." And like now I see things differently. It's like, hey, he sold out, but he's feeding his family. You know what I'm saying? Like when you get a little bit older, you realize that like, hey man, like someone's got to pay the bills, and like there's selling out, which we never want to do, and then there's just like, hey man, that's a good opportunity to fight fiscally. Take that. Why not? You know, it might not be ideal, but you know, nowadays it's about like, you know, figuring out how to turn this into a business. You know, how do I live off this? How do I eat off this? How do I feed my family off this? So, you know, I don't care about what people think as much as I used to, where it was like I just want to impress everybody. And like if you listen to my old music, I was yelling in the mic in the studio, like trying to like prove something. And it's like now it's like, who for what? Like make it sound good.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's a learning curve, but we get there.
What would be the best piece of advice you would give your younger self?
I would have started music a lot earlier. I think, you know, obviously I was an athlete, so I focused a lot on that. That's part of who I am. I don't want to take that away. That's why I have like, you know, discipline and a work ethic, because I learned that by playing ball and getting up at 6 a.m. to go to practice and stuff like that. But I definitely would have, I wish I would have tried to go to like, you know, music school or like 5 Towns or something like that, and learned a little bit more about the process early on, because I felt like, you know, I'm a little bit older. I'm 32, so you know, people might think that that's a certain type of thing, but really I've been doing it probably the same amount of years as these young kids have. You know what I mean? Just I got into it later, and I'm just figuring this stuff out when I feel like, you know, I could have been in a better position younger if I was involved in it. But you know, it's a double-edged sword. So, you know, I wouldn't be who I am. I wouldn't be talking from the perspective I was talking if I didn't have those experiences with basketball and stuff like that. You know, basketball took me all over the world. You know, I played in Spain, you know, and stuff like that. It introduced me to a lot of people and introduced me to hip hop. You know, like, you know, where I moved in Long Island, I was listening to, you know, Big L and Big Pun when everybody else was listening to like Taking Back Sunday and stuff like that. And like, I love Taking Back Sunday. Don't get me wrong, that's my shit. But, you know, I would have been a different person. So,
Absolutely.
So, I guess, you know what I really would tell my younger self is I wouldn't have put out music right away. Because when I first made music, it was ass. And because I was just making music. I just started. And my instinct was like, oh, let's put it out. Why would you do that? Like, get better. That's what I would say. Is like work on and figure out who you are as an artist before you go to look to put it out and promote it.
Nice.
You know, that would be my number one.
Absolutely.
It's kind of a roundabout way to answer that question. But you got that.
No, I love it. I love it. I see your brain working while you go through it. What do you do for your mental health?
Working out, like I was mentioned. I do hot yoga every now and then. I've been going like bi-weekly. I think that's really, really good. I know there's a stigma around that stuff, but you walk out of that class.
What's the stigma, though? I never heard nothing bad about it.
People just like, oh, I don't want to do that. It's yoga, like a Bravo guy, like a macho guy.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like,
that's the ego.
Yeah, exactly. Like, when I walk out of that class, I feel like clear. You know what I'm saying? Like, physically, I feel great and clear.
Yeah, it's mental and physical. You're stretching.
Sweat it all out.
Yeah.
You know, Bikram.
Yeah, I never did that. I love the sauna. I've done yoga, but I never did the hot yoga.
Oh, I got to do it. That's the only way I could do it.
The only way.
I don't enjoy it. Like, otherwise, I swear, I don't.
Cold yoga ain't it.
I haven't been able to tap in with meditation. That's like another thing I got to work on, but I haven't been able to tap in with that. I have a bit of a chaotic mind, like in 1,000 places at once. But hot yoga helps.
Absolutely.
But yeah, man, I pick up the phone and call my friends, man. I got a lot of close friends, and not just music, people that I grew up with. You know what I mean? When you grow up with people, they know who you really are. So I always just like, feel a type of way. I got people that I could always call, so this is nice.
That's great to have people like that.
Yeah. It's
absolutely.
You feeling like shit. You have a good conversation with your friend, you might be a little bit better. I
agree, 100%. If you could have any question answered, what would you ask? And I mean any question, even the day and time you're gonna die. Ooh. Any question.
Huh. I would ask straight up, like, is my destiny in music or film?
Wow.
Because I often toggle between those ideas, and I think I could do either, but I've been waiting for an opportunity to appear that can, like we've been talking about, take me to that next level. And I don't necessarily know which one it'll be, but, I think that's why we keep working. That's why, and I'm trying to just find that. But yeah, if I could know where to put all my eggs in the basket, that'd be good. That'd be helpful for me.
What would you do if it was film? You want to be an actor or more like the producer and writer?
I mean, ideally, I would probably direct.
Direct.
Or write and direct, something like that. I mean, I love acting too. I just don't.
That's not the main goal of yours when it comes to film.
I just don't trust that I would, I take things like that seriously. Like, I would never want to like take a role from somebody who like studied and like
deserves it.
Yeah, deserved it.
Yeah,
like, but at the end of the day,
kill it
like,
more than you.
At the end of the day, like 10,000 hours is 10,000 hours. Like, if you get an opportunity as a musician to act and you're good at it, it's those 10,000 hours you spent becoming who you are as a musician don't go away because it's a different category. Why? You know what I'm saying? So it's like...
Yeah, just like the musicians that actually have acted.
Right.
A lot of them have done very well.
Yeah.
Like Ludacris is actually decent. How you feel about Ludacris' acting?
He's not bad. Yeah, he's not bad.
Right?
If you could get on a stage and entertain people,
That's what it is. And rapping is kind of like you're acting.
Yeah.
When you're doing the music video, when you're doing the performance...
You want it to be as true to you as you can, so you're not
practice
faking it, but like
all that.
You're rehearsing lines.
You're rehearsing.
That's a big thing. Like rapper, like Joey Badass, has got an Academy Award. Because he was great in that short film. What are you gonna say about that? He was great.
Straight up.
It is what it is.
Yeah,
so
it is what it is.
it is what it is. Yeah, man. Like I think I've been looking a long time for a way to narrow things down. So I would always ask that because, like I said, like I've been doing all these different things, and it's time to narrow down on what the bread and butter is.
Absolutely. If you love both, I say both. In the meantime,
I've been doing it.
In the meantime, just do both.
Just keep it,
Something's gonna hit.
Yeah,
something's gonna hit. If you had one law everyone on earth had to follow, what would it be?
Ooh. You can't wear flip-flops in restaurants. I can't stand
it. Damn, never heard that one. I like it.
Yeah, especially guys.
Have some class.
Unpedicured dudes. It's December.
Yeah, that's extreme.
Why do I gotta eat? I'm eating, bro, and you got a hangnail within 3 feet of me at another table.
And it's December.
It's December. And like, we're not even near the water. You know what? I don't know. That's me. I'm crazy about that. That drives me nuts. Girl with pedicure, cool, whatever. I'm just saying. Come on, man.
I like it.
Dong sandals is crazy.
Besides the music, film, career, what are your overall life goals?
I mean, I want to have a family. You know, I want to, be a dad at some point, and take everything I've learned and give it to somebody else. I think for sure that's like what the whole purpose of this thing is. Yeah, I mean, I think I've lived a couple different lives at this point. I have a lot of, I got a lot of info to give, and then a lot of love to spread. So I would, having a family is like probably number one. And being able to enjoy that, you know what I mean? Like travel the world, enjoy the little things that this life is given. And as an artist, it's hard, man. You got to sacrifice a lot of that stuff because, I don't make a ton of money, but I do well enough where it's like if I wasn't doing music, I'd be able to do some of that stuff. But I put everything I make into the music. I put everything I make into the films and stuff like that. So I just want to live a life where I can enjoy what is provided to us, what God has given us. So, yeah, I think that ever since I had my niece, like my sister had a niece, her daughter, so my niece, it changed everything for me because I was like, I never had anybody that I'm so close with have a kid like that. So, she's the best. So she's been picking all the beats on the album anyway.
The kid?
Yeah,
the niece?
She comes in.
Wow.
She comes in. If she goes like this, it's good. She'll tell you straight up. She's like, no. 2 years old.
Wow. 2 years old. God bless. That's amazing.
But yeah, ever since my sister had a kid, it was like, okay. This is something I could definitely see myself being.
Nice.
Yeah.
We're nearing the end of the podcast. If you could please let the people know where they could find you.
Sure.
Anything you want them to tune into, and any last words.
Yeah, so it's this is Nikmoody. I got an album coming called Arrivederci on March 27th. There will be a release show in New York City, Mercury Lounge, April 5th, 9 p.m. A lot of dope artists on the bill. Please pop out if you're there. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter and Spotify as Nikmoody, no C because I ain't corporate at all, with a little underscore for Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that. And even Nikmoody.com, Nikmoody. Everything will be on there. If you want, join the newsletter. We've been sending out some fun stuff. I like to, flex the writing a little bit in those newsletters. So if you want to be a part of it, please feel free to contact me. I appreciate you having me, man. This is a beautiful thing.
It was my pleasure. Thanks for coming through.
Just talk about it.
I like that. And thank you to everybody that watched. Peace and love.